Here, Mike. This will explain everything.
Howdy, folks. Welcome to Retsutalk episode 27. You may feel the energy a bit different in here today, and it's because those of you listening to the archive version of this are missing out, because there is a stream of chats happening right now. People are listening to this live. All the energy of a live audience is here, only that audience is individual people awkwardly staring at an image of the Retsutalk microphone logo thingy on their Twitch.tv monitors. And Slowbeef is absent today. He is partying down in Party City, USA, otherwise known as the state of Delaware. I don't know why he's partying in the state of Delaware, but that's where he is right now. And so in his stead, I have our favoritist Craigslist reading awkward Retsugal Palcheridoom.
Check. Hi. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, when I listen to the Retsutalk podcast, I just hold my phone and watch the little logo.
Oh, so you do stare at it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's true. If they're listening to it on the iTunes, you can, iTunes.com, you can also stare at it there. There's many places you can stare at this logo. Well, there are some people I hear when the logo is first posted on Facebook. Some people, when they're listening, like in their... they just go to Facebook and stare at the logo there while they listen. There's a lot of different places you can stare at things.
Yep.
So, choose the place of your choice and stare. We're all equal opportunity here.
Yep.
So how you doing?
It's good. I'm a little nervous. I'm just going to pretend that this is already archived and this has already happened and it all went great.
Yeah, well, why are you nervous? Because you stream, literally every day, sometimes 2 to 3 times a day.
I get 10 people on average, and there's 500.
It's no different. It's the same folks staring at their computers. I told you this during the tech check, but it helps to imagine your audience naked. They probably already are. There are naked, nude people watching this with popcorn or pizza in their hands or mouths or butts right now. What is there to be nervous about?
That's true. Though I don't have anything Craigslist to read. I wish you told me that you were going to mention that was my thing.
Yes, I was going to ask if there's anyone who posted about this stream on Craigslist, hoping to have a casual encounter in the chat. If you want to cyber in the chat, let me know. Don't solicit me with business opportunities, though, please. What is that disclaimer that Craigslist always has at the bottom of their things?
This person is not, I don't know, who cares?
Yeah.
Let's talk about video games.
Yeah, so first, before we do that, let's discuss the format here a little bit. So this is going to be a very guest-driven stream in a little bit. I solicited some help from people who brought in topics to talk about. I chose some topics that were interesting or that I thought enticed me in some way. Ran them by you as well, since you're co-hosting. Want to make sure you're comfortable with all the topics that are brought in here.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm sure I won't be horribly offended by any of these video game topics.
I was surprised at how serious a lot of the topic submissions were, really heavy debate shit that came in, hey Diabetes, let's talk about, are video games art?
Well, I mean, are they? It's a debate that hasn't been solved.
I hate that debate so much. I don't guys, okay, look, I mean, we talked about this a little bit, but
yeah,
it's the kind of debate that I think is inherently pointless to have, because people who are very firmly on either side, nothing will change their minds. There's nothing. You cannot bring any evidence to that will change anyone's minds. It's a pointless, waste of time debate to have. People who think their art, like the games that were made with kind of artistic intent in mind, people who aren't on the side of the video games are art, they play, their Halos and their Call of Duties and whatever, they think that's what video games are. You won't change their minds. That's my opinion. Settled.
Mine is that video games are exactly the same as movies. Some are made for just to rake in tons of money, like Transformers, and some are, pet projects that the filmmakers or the video game developers really love. And that's that.
So we settled it. We settled the debate right here, live.
Yep.
And archived. Don't forget libsyn.itunes.com. So, and the other kinds of debate. One person asked me to talk about comedy, and I thought that was interesting, but also something that I'm ill prepared to talk about. Because talking about comedy can become very snobby, I think, or sound very snobby.
Listen,
and weird.
I listen to a lot of comedy podcasts, so I think I know a little bit about comedy. And
I think I listen to the Doug Loves Movies every week. And have you heard of this thing called Earwolf, the Earwolf Network?
Ah, yes.
That's where premium comedy content comes from. Okay.
In my opinion, comedy is funny.
Whoa. Don't bring any controversial topics to this, please. Don't make the stream awkward. Okay. I worked very hard for this.
All right.
But anyway, some people did have some good topics, and so I got back to them and said we would bring them in later. So we're going to have some guests later, but we're going to have a little mano-a-mano chat here just to get into the stream of things, if you'll pardon.
Speaking of streams, I stream. Good segues, diabetes. Oh, shit. I almost
go. You got this. You got this. Come on. Bring it home. Come on.
Yeah, I like streaming a lot. It's a lot less effort than full-on LPs. There's no video editing. I already talked about this in the last Retsutalk I was on, but yeah, I'm streaming Dark Souls right now.
How is that? So you're playing Dark Souls solely through streams, right? You're never playing just on your own?
If I do a little bit of grinding and I know exactly what I need to do, then I'll just do it by myself. But basically, it's all through stream, and I'm getting lots of help from people in the chat. Mainly Gnomebitten, Dectalon, who gifted me the game. Thank you very much. And Soract. And some people might say that, I'm ruining the game by not playing it by myself and, being surprised by every death and getting help and stuff. But, I mean, I'm only going to be playing it once. It's a really long game and huge, and I'm not going to be able to find all the really cool and interesting stuff by myself. So, I mean, as much help as I can get, I love it.
I think that's a good game to stream, actually, because that's my main complaint about Dark Souls, is that I get that it doesn't want to help the player, but I think it does that a little too much. Like, it gives you no help whatsoever beyond a simple tutorial, no clue where to go. Like, the trial and error is a little too much at times, I think. I still respect it for that. But I can see how it would be more enjoyable for a wider audience if they kind of had those lifelines to assist them throughout. So I'm on board with that.
And you played it on your own, right?
I did play on my own. I did look up things at times, like having no idea where to go, just kind of looking at a quick walkthrough, like, what's a good place to go? Now, then I would go out on my own and try to figure it out. But I sunk easily 40 to 50 hours into the game before I was finished.
Man, I don't know how long I've been doing it. I guess I could check Steam. But games that are like heavy on exploration, I have to have somebody guide me through it. That's how I played the Metroid games and a lot of the Zelda games too. I mean, I really like the games a lot, the art styles and the stories and all that, but I would not be able to do it on my own. Just because I'd get lost all the time. Maybe that's just because I'm a girl.
Oh my god. I told you not to bring controversial topics into this stream. Or into this archive podcast, libsynitunes.com.
All right.
So what else is going on? Any other things you're playing, or is it just Dark Souls all the time?
Just Dark Souls right now. I don't know what I'm going to play next. Maybe Max Payne 3. I've been meaning to play. And
I've heard mediocre things.
Me too.
I've been playing Papers, Please.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that, but not much.
Somebody gifted me the game kind of out of nowhere, and I was curious, so I thought, all right, I'll check this out. So it's a game that has a very difficult premise to sell. So all you do is you're a guy who works at a checkpoint where you take passports from people, look at them, sign off on them, and let you in. but it's very deep gameplay as far as fact-checking, cross-referencing with your rulebook, looking for discrepancies on on the paperwork that they give you, and every day your set of instructions changes, and I feel very dumb when I play that game. You stamp approval on something like, there's a discrepancy, this was actually a girl, and said he was a dude. So, yeah, things like that. But I want to try to get into a little bit more, because it looks very enticing. Like, terrorist attacks can happen at your checkpoints, and then the next day the rules get really strict. But where I get frustrated with the game, though, is that it is... And this is my fault, because I think I don't have the personality for that kind of game, because I like to be able to plan things, get my plan of attack, and then go. But you have a time limit every day.
Right.
So you have to let enough people in to make enough money to pay for your rent, for your heat, for your life, basically. But if you spend too much time kind of getting in the nitty-gritty of the rule book and not letting enough people in, then you don't make enough money and you lose. But you gotta let the right people in. So,
like Diner Dash.
Yes. I'm guessing.
That sounds great. I'll play it on my iPhone.
But it's an interesting thing. The game is $10, very affordable indie game. I'd recommend you check it out.
Cool.
If you get around to it.
I am a busy lady.
All right.
I've got a lot of knitting to do.
Yeah, likewise. Well, what do you think? Anything else to talk about, or should we start bringing in our guests?
I had a thing to say, but I forgot. So, nope.
Okay. Do you want just total silence until then?
Sure.
Okay. Actually, I do have one guest I want to bring in before I bring in the scheduled guests. See if he picks up.
Oh boy, surprise guest. Who could it be? I'm definitely not looking at the Skype window right now.
Spoilers. Hello, special guest. Are you there?
Nope, he's not.
Don't spoil the gender of the guest. All right. Well, who cares? All right, so let's start to bring in our guests. The first topic that was brought to my attention was sent by a lot of people. There were 3 separate people who wanted to talk about speedrunning specifically. One person, I believe, is somewhat in the speedrunning community. I'm not sure about the second dude, and I think the third is just a fan of them in general. So we have a lot of perspectives to get to, so I'm going to slowly dial these people in, because my Skype window is full of crap.
Gotta hurry, man. You're not going to beat the record.
Oh my god.
Aren't you using any
pay for my
tools
rent.
to assist in the speed run of
I gotta get them in, or I'll lose my money for my rent and heat.
Hey,
Another important resource.
Can we speed run this part of the podcast and just get it over with?
Oh, right in with the joke is slow freak. Freak.
3, 2, 1. Speedrunning's cool. There's not a lot of drama. There are a lot of things to do, and it's fun to do. Bye.
Great.
Oh.
Well, that was a surprisingly
my eyes are opened.
Surprisingly quick portion of the podcast. And I'm bringing in the third person, Shantae, who I believe is just a casual fan of speedrunning. So, while we wait for her...
Hello.
Oh, hello.
You promised I would be the only girl!
Oh no! I'm so sorry. I'll be a man now.
Look,
I'm a man.
This is an equal opportunity podcast, and you, Cherry Doom, do not afford enough opportunity. So let's introduce all of these fine guests. Slow Freak, let's start with you. What are your speedrunning credentials, and why did you want to talk about it?
Okay, so I'm Slow Freak. I speedrun SSX Tricky and Tony Hawk's Underground 2. I have the world record in Thug 2 easy mode. That means it's easy, took no talent whatsoever. So, that means I have no talent whatsoever, and I don't know why you brought me on here.
Perfect. All right, Draco Dan, what are your credentials?
Hi, I'm Dracodan. I speedrun F-Zero GX, and by that I mean I try to get good times, and I absolutely fail at it because the skill ceiling is massive.
Fantastic. And Shantae, your speedrunning credentials?
I'm a fan.
A fan. Perfect.
Yeah, stuff. It's cool.
Getting all perspectives and broken mics at the same time. And Cherry Doom, your speedrunning credentials?
I don't, I like ones that are like 2 minutes long, but I don't really watch like the ones that are like 8 hours.
You have the world record for casual playthroughs of Dark Souls on Twitch.tv.
Yeah.
It's true. Well, Slow Freak, you seem to have the most exposure to the community and whatnot, so I've been a fan of speedrunning myself. I've watched a number of them, usually of shorter games. I used to hop on the Speed Demos Archive website where they would have like Mega Man speedruns, good thing to watch. Back when I raced those types of games with the Racing Bros, I would often watch those for inspiration. But it's very much evolved from that into this whole big thing. Like I recently watched this charity marathon that happened where, you know, half of the screen was a random game and the other half was this whole room of people in a hotel room somewhere who apparently all met like a convention kind of setting. So it's really evolved in a lot of ways, and I'm curious as to, from your point of view, and Draco Dan, you can chip in too, Shantae as well, how did it evolve so much? Where did it all come from? The origin story, if you will.
Firstly, I think you're talking about Summer Games Done Quick that happened a couple weeks ago.
Yes, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't have a lot of info on like how it started, but I can tell you kind of how speedrunning started in general, and that was with a game called Quake. It's a really underground game. I don't know if you've heard of it, but like I haven't been in the speedrunning scene for a long time. I've been in for about like 6 months. I picked it up over the summer. And I think speedrunning is kind of a thing that like it was bound to happen at some point because people kind of want to bring games to their limit, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think speedrunning is a really, really good way to do that. And with the glitches that come with games, it kind of makes it really easy to do that and makes it really fun. Like in SSX Tricky, you can go out of bounds in a lot of the levels and just kind of fall right to the end. And that makes the game really I mean, it's interesting regardless, but it's really fun to be able to break the game and do things that you're not supposed to do.
Did speedrunning start, was it an offshoot of tool-assisted runs? Or did that come first?
What is tool-assisted speedrunning exactly?
Okay, other way around, I believe.
Oh boy, here we go.
Hold on.
Sorry for that, Pandora's box.
Cherry Doom, I'm sorry. Tool-assisted
Pandora's
speedrunning
toolbox.
it's really, really controversial. I'm so offended that you brought that up.
I just keep bringing the controversy.
Anyways, tool-assisted speedrunning is... you obviously know what an emulator is, right?
I'm a girl, so of course.
Basically, some emulators have the capability to record the buttons you press when you press them, but they also have the ability to advance, like frame by frame. So you can slow the game down really a lot, and then you can press the buttons on the exact frame that you would want to. So tool-assisted speedrun is basically slowing the game down, making it go as fast as you want to get rid of the reflex, to get rid of the human inability to do things perfectly.
Oh wow, I had no idea. I thought it was just I don't know, the game jumps for you.
Can I plug tasvideos.org? They have really, really good ones.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
We're editing that out.
We're editing that out. I can't believe you just did that.
I've already taken it out of my Audacity, even though I'm recording it now.
So yeah, that's just what I was wondering, if speedrunning was a reaction to the tassing, if it was like, well, wouldn't it be more interesting if you did introduce the human element to it, or if it was the other way around, where it's like, what if you removed the human element, then how fast could you beat this game? Like a chicken and egg thing.
Do you want me to give you the history of tool-assisted speedrunning, or would that take too long?
As long as you speedrun it. Tool-assisted, please.
All right.
Yeah.
Basically, there's a game... there's some guy with a Japanese name. I hope that doesn't sound offensive. But this one guy with a... he had an emulator, and he just kind of slowed down the game and beat it really quickly. So people were thinking that it was actually legit gameplay, when in actuality it was tool-assisted. So people at first thought that was kind of cheating. And you can find the original tool-assisted speedrun of Super Mario Bros. 3 on tasvideos.org. But you can find that, and then people thought, well, we can make it better. And so it basically got better and better and better until tool-assisted speedrunning got really big.
And now you know.
That's where we are.
So Draco Dan, you're a little bit involved in the community. What's your whole perspective about it? What is Slow Freak left out?
Well, I guess in terms of tool-assisted speedrunning, an important element of it is also that you learn the game's mechanics in great detail, and one of the ways that comes into play is through the use of luck manipulation. Like, anytime there's randomness in a game, tool-assisted speedruns aren't just about perfecting the human element, but perfecting the non-human element by doing stuff such as finding out why the game does a specific luck roll on a certain frame and how you can manipulate it into doing what you want. So there's that, certainly.
So sure, Jim, just do that on Dark Souls and you'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds easy.
Pretty much, yeah. I suppose if you want to have like the typical game that is like 95% luck manipulation in a speedrun, it's Pokemon. Because it's just doing all sorts of stuff like finding perfect encounters, trying to manipulate critical hits and misses, all that sort of thing.
I do
would
not
think
know how
it-
to speedrun that game.
Yeah,
It
I would
seems
think a
like-
game with like a random element like that would be just impossible.
Yeah. There is more or less one person who seriously tries to speedrun the Pokemon games without tools, and 90% of the time it's resetting the run in the first 2 minutes. It's extremely difficult because of all the luck involved.
And yet,
I would-
there's a huge audience for it,
Yeah.
oddly enough.
Have you seen the people speedrunning Final Fantasy?
No, in that charity stream, I saw a dude speedrun Paper Mario, which was an interesting choice.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Just because it's so turn-based, you would expect there to be turns all over the place.
Yeah, like if you're trying to make a record or anything, any kind of RPG game with that element of randomness just seems impossible.
Supposedly, though, I've heard some people saying that a couple of the Final Fantasy games have comparatively easy RNG engines to manipulate. I don't know the details of it, but I've heard multiple people saying that the Final Fantasy games, a couple of them, are some of the easiest games to manipulate. I don't really know how it works.
Well,
I would've-
materia, I would think.
There's
I
this
would-
one person. Oh,
Sorry. Go
Sure,
ahead.
Jim, you have the floor.
yeah.
I was gonna say, I would imagine that, like, you have to have tons of passion about one certain game in order to get so good at it that you are trying to be the fastest person to do it. But, like, I would think it might make you like the game a little less if you are having a lot of frustration about it.
Yeah, any kind of
That
RPG
is
especially.
definitely true.
Yeah.
Or any long game period where it takes, I don't know, an hour or more to have to basically do it perfectly without fucking up once.
I've tuned into a few of, I
Yes.
think, Joshimu's, his speedruns of San Andreas, and he just seems like so frustrated all the
It's a-
time.
It's a rule of speedrunning. You have to hate the game you play, otherwise you're not really speedrunning the game.
It's so
There's
weird, though.
also-
It's like two different games. It's like the broken game and the casual game. I think they would start to hate the broken game, but still like the casual game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely true, because the frustration of trying to run an entire game in one session, you can break that down into generally trying to do two categories. There's generally like glitchless runs and glitched runs. Like, say, if you're trying to run Ocarina of Time, you can either do all of the dungeons and that'll take over 2 hours to do. But the glitched run of Ocarina of Time is 20 minutes. So you can, if you don't want to deal with having to do a lot more of the game and try and get it all perfectly in one session, you can just do the glitched run, which is a lot shorter.
Isn't it the same with Mario 64 too?
Yeah, absolutely. Mario 64, you don't strictly need any stars to complete it, but on real speedruns, like not tool assisted, it's generally agreed that 16 stars is the minimum.
Oh, real speedruns, huh? Now you're judging?
Don't people do don't people do 1-star speedruns a lot? I mean, not a lot, but I mean,
It's just
Isn't that the-
extremely difficult because the main trick involved in breaking Mario 64 is the BLJ, or the backwards long jump, in which you use the long jump backwards many times in quick succession to quickly build up lots of speed, enough speed, in fact, to break through walls and doors, which is how you get through the star doors, so that you don't need enough stars to get into the Bowser levels, for example. But it's just extremely difficult to pull off. I'm not even sure if anyone's done a console 0-star run. I just know that 16-star is the standard for doing a Mario 64 speedrun.
So breaking Mario 64 has become such a thing that they basically militarize some of the game mechanics into initials.
Oh, absolutely.
You've
If
got
you
a
check-
BLJ,
That's
and then you
a lot of
LJ
games.
over the gap, and then you DJ. up to the BK, that's the Bomb King.
Yeah, if you check tafvideos.org, there's many categories for Mario 64 alone. There's like 0-star run, 70-star run without BLJ, 120-star. They've got so many runs of that game alone.
There's like a wiki for all the acronyms that you can...
Yes.
A wiki?
Well, not a wiki, but there's a page.
Games.
Have you considered just spelling?
Worse.
I mean, it takes so long, dude. Okay, let me type it on my keyboard. B-O-B. God damn it, this is taking forever.
And we try here.
Okay, let's just type
Yeah, that checks out.
BBK. BBK. See? Bob-omb Kingdom, or whatever the hell it's called.
All on Battlefield.
It is
BBB.
speedrunning. So.
Dude. Yeah, see? BBBBB. It's so fast.
Is there a speedrun of Mario teaches typing?
Bro, I
Probably
would not
closest
doubt
to
that,
speedrun if
actually.
it's on PC.
All right, well, what haven't we covered? Anything else you guys wanted to bring up about the whole speedrun thing?
What's everybody's favorite speedrun?
Oh, yeah, good question. Excellent question, Sheridan, thank you.
That is a good question.
I
know
would
that,
probably say, when you mentioned the charity events before, anybody who has not done so far should check out Yoshi Fan's run of F-Zero GX at Awesome Games Done Quick 2013.
Yes, I was going to say something else, but
fantastic.
that was a good run.
It was the run of that event, in my opinion.
It was the best. I'm so mad that I missed it because I wanted.
Yeah.
Slow Freak, your favorite?
I don't want to say FGOGX because Jack already said that one, but I'm also going to say at AGDQ, Wind Waker is a really fun game because it's 5 hours long to do any percent, which any percent means like just beat the game as fast as possible, no restrictions. But any percent is 5 hours, but it has so many different glitches and so many different interesting things, and since it's so long, you can kind of pack a lot of different things inside of it.
Yes, yeah. I guess the Wind Waker any percent speedrun's also sort of an anomaly in that it's been so researched and practiced that they've actually, through glitches such as storage, they've managed to use glitches and tricks which were originally thought to be TAS only.
Yeah, that's the really crazy thing. I wouldn't think Wind Waker is the kind of game to get that sort of intense research, but it's really awesome.
Yeah.
And Shantae, your favorite?
I think it'd be looking at time, honestly. Just the fact that you can play your own with a hook shot is kind of the funniest thing in the world to me. And the fact that it's 20 minutes long when it's supposed to be like 5 or however long is kind of intense. If I had to do a speed run, it would probably be Ocarina of Time, even though I know it's a big old commitment, but it just seems fun.
And Sheridan?
Um,
You have 5 seconds.
gosh,
4.
Mario.
3.
Just
Mario!
I don't
I'm
know.
sorry.
And there we have it.
Oh, I know. MSG3, of course. MGS3.
Oh, yeah.
Reset.
MSG. I like to speedrun when I eat at a Chinese restaurant as well.
Any MGS game run perfectly is a magnificent speedrun to watch.
Nice.
Can I just throw something in before we leave?
Yes, you may.
You were talking about Final Fantasy VI, a ROM hack you were playing on a podcast you did earlier, right?
That is correct. That's accurate.
Well, this isn't Final Fantasy VI, but that some guy named Sarisa, I think he does Final Fantasy VII speedruns, and I think the world record for that game is 9 hours.
9 hours.
Yeah, I don't get... Okay, here's something even better. You know San Andreas, you were talking about Josh Moves doing a San Andreas speedrun?
Mm-hmm.
People are routing for that game 100%, and the estimated time for that one is 20 hours. And I don't get how you could do that sort of speedrun, because you'd have to like piss in a bottle the whole run, and then just go to sleep when you're done.
Oh, I do
Certainly
that already.
doing it single segment would be next to fucking impossible. But yeah, you could do it multi-segment, sure.
Yeah, I piss in a bottle regardless, even if my run's like 10 minutes long. But I don't get it.
I suppose building on what you say there about the speedrun being 9 hours long, it really goes with RPG speedruns, because my favorite game, which is a PS1 game, Grandia, only recently got a speedrun, and that's like 16 hours long. I think that is single segment as well. I haven't watched it yet. But
So he holds the
I feel
record just because
sorry
he's the only
for the guy.
person that's bothered, right?
Yes,
That's what all speedrunners
it's definitely
do.
world record because it's the only existing speedrun of that game so far.
Nice. Well, gentlemen, Thank you very much. We lost Shantae, I believe, in a Skype tornado, but thanks so much for your time. I think we've learned a lot about speedrunning and ourselves.
Yeah, thank you
In
for having
record
us.
time.
In record time.
Sweet.
Absolutely.
And we learned some fun lessons on the way.
Oh.
Group
More,
hug, guys.
So thank you, gentlemen. I'm now rudely hanging up on you.
Okay, that's
All right.
fine.
Later, fellas.
See ya.
See you.
Bye. All right. That
All
was
right.
pretty interesting. I was very interested in the thing about task runs. I had no idea.
Oh, good, because I thought
Those
it was a
were-
disaster. Oh, God. Oh, boy. What a train wreck.
Are you trying again on this super secret special guest?
Trying to get on the special guest, because he's bothered me a few times. Let's see if I can nab this gentleman. Very persistent. He's supposedly Retsupurae's biggest fan. So try to bring him in to discuss whatever it is you want to talk about. But
This would be a
again,
real opportunity for him.
yeah. But again,
So-
not picking up.
What's he
Rude.
bothering you about and then not picking up?
Right? I don't know. Maybe he's on his phone or something. But speaking of phones, the next guest that we have lined up is live on the scene at the topic that he wants to talk about.
Whoa.
So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, Retsutalk has reporters that they dispatch to places.
Hey,
Oh,
no,
shit.
yeah, done.
Oh,
Hello?
hello.
Hello.
I'm on the
Hello.
phone.
Are you Retsutalk's biggest fan?
I am the hugest.
Okay. So what's up?
I'm on the phone, hon. This is a
We know it.
disaster.
You're married.
Slowly, you
God.
don't have to tell me that. Okay. It's awkward.
Absolutely.
Are you still at the party?
No, I just got back. And now
All
I
right.
have to
Put down the
go to events.
creepypasta, please. We're not doing that today.
I cannot tell you how great speedrun chat is. That was awesome. Very well done.
Yeah. Thank
I
you.
was so annoyed. I wanted to weigh in on RNG stuff too.
Oh, thank God.
I know. I was going to talk about entropy and like how you do luck manipulation. or
Let's
at least
shoot
how-
our viewership up to the tens of thousands,
I know. Like,
because that's how the
Didn't
RNG
have-
is going to come out.
but I'm in a video game.
Slowly, if you're becoming more robotic by the second.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I encountered a new type of video game.
Oh, boy.
Did you?
Called the urinal
I'm going to
video
kick you out in a second because you're impossible to hear.
You know, have fun, guys.
I did see your urinal tweets.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I
thanks
was,
for that.
I was shocked.
Did you sandcastle that shit?
Oh boy.
Oh,
Yeah, fuck it. I'll tell you.
okay. Wow, we're never having that guest back. What a disaster. So, any other thoughts on speedrunning while it's just us and not those freaks we had on earlier?
I would like to see. I would like to know what the shortest speed run and the longest speed run are.
Fair question. Fair question. I would imagine the longest speedrun is World of Warcraft or some similar game.
Oh yeah. Oh, that'd be ridiculous.
How do you do? Is it like a speedrun with a goal?
What do you mean?
Like fastest to defeat super
Oh,
powerful
fastest
boss
to
dude.
the last boss, or
Fastest to raid the
level
shit.
70.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Well, Retsutalk means to make you think about things. So glad we did that.
Yeah.
So let's go to our next guest. Our next guest is I'm just going to read the sales pitch he gave me. I'm at an anime convention right now. This is a quote. This isn't me saying this. I'm at an anime convention right now, and there's a ton of Danganronpa cosplayers. I'm wearing a t-shirt with a paywall on it to see what kind of reactions I get. So if you want, we can chat about that and cons in general. The only problem is I'll have Skype on my phone, so the quality won't be best, and I can't record. That's okay. So this is a friend of the show, dude we met at PAX Turbo C, something awful goon, good guy. And we're going to hear him live reporting on the scene at an anime convention. He had to attend to a medical emergency. I'm not making that up. So we'll get some word on that as well. There's an anime emergency at the Anime Con.
Someone's eyes are too big.
Someone's eyes are too big. Someone is too kawaii and needs CPR sign. So we're calling Turbo C.
Still calling Turbo C.
C is for conventions.
Oh my god. Oh boy.
Hello.
And the moment he picks up, we hear an anime scream in the background. How's it going, Turbo?
And there's a lot of anime around me, but
So you are live on
surviving.
the scene at an anime convention. What convention is it? What's going on? Give us the latest.
This is Otakon.
Oh, the big
as
one.
far as I,
Oh,
yeah, that's like the biggest anime convention or whatever. So, yeah, there's a lot going on right now.
What's the
And,
Danganronpa to Homestuck cosplay ratio?
It's actually like 1-to-1. There's not much Homestuck
Wow.
this year, but there's a lot of Rompa.
a lot of Rampa.
I
And
was,
so
I
you
was
were wearing
actually
a
very.
and you're wearing a paywall shirt,
What was
right?
that?
You're wearing a paywall shirt?
I took a picture of the paywall, put it on the T-shirt, and ran into one of the Danganronpa photo shoots.
So what
So,
kind of sorts of
everyone got,
reactions have you gotten?
Like really mad at that.
What sort of
that?
reactions?
Sorry, it was breaking up again.
No problem. What sort of reactions have you gotten?
No one's been like throwing knives at me or anything. Everyone's just sort of playful about.
Lots of tickle
And
fights
people,
and such. Yeah.
Some people are some people are being serious, being like, "Oh, this is the bane of my existence." But yeah,
And so you had
people thought it was funny.
you had a medical emergency to attend to, or to help with?
Yeah, it was just kind of
Oh boy.
weird.
Oh boy, we're losing you, Turbo.
Like I guess an hour ago before you called.
Yeah. For those of you who couldn't hear him when he was breaking up, uh-oh.
That was a medical emergency. I'm breaking up.
Yeah, that is a medical problem. We'll call 911 immediately. What else are you seeing on the floor? Anything weird?
So you guys can hear me now?
Yeah.
Adequately.
Yeah, there's been some not weirder than normal, I guess, because I've been here before. But I mean, it's definitely not like your PAX where it's mostly people in normal clothes. There's people dressed up as anime from stuff I've never heard of and probably don't want to hear of.
Nice.
So nothing like too crazy or like something that I would divert my eyes from.
I can't imagine what that would even be.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's there was BronyCon here last weekend though, which I didn't go to, so maybe that's where you would find that sort of stuff.
All right. Well,
Oh,
watch
yeah.
out for dung on the floors or anything like that.
Horse manure.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Bunny
dangerous.
manure.
All right, well, Turbo, we're losing you a little bit, so thank you for the update.
Sure.
And we will see you
And-
at next PAX, friend.
Yeah, probably.
Definitely.
All right. Take care.
All right, take it
See
easy.
ya.
Later.
Well, that was unfortunate.
That's the risk you
call
take when
quality.
people are on their phones. I think we're like 0 for 3 on people with phones. Shantae sounded like she was on a phone. Slowbeep was
Yeah.
on a phone. Turbo C was on a phone. We can't have any more phones on this podcast, but fortunately the rest of our lineup are regular people, and by regular people I mean people who are spending their Sundays staring at their computer waiting to get a Skype call from me. So that's pretty exciting. Cherry, do you have any thoughts on what we just heard?
Well, I have some opinions about the Danganronpa fiasco. I don't know if I don't want to offend any goons, though.
Well, you know
who
what?
might, who
Slowbeep's
might
not
feel passionately
here.
about it.
Slowbeep's not here. He can't contribute to this, so I'm going to let all the Danganronpa opinions sound out without his interference. Go ahead.
Okay, basically, I think that, SA might be a little insular in that they're kind of thinking of Danganronpa as something that is their own. And that's sort of true because that's like where the only full translation is right now. But I think it has the same amount of fandom and, less fandom than any other popular anime or, Pokemon has a huge annoying fandom. Same with, a lot of anime and Homestuck and all that kind of thing. I mean, it's just the problem is that it's all centered on SA because that's where it is. And I think that if people don't want people, paying low tax $10, then they should just take initiative and post it somewhere free so that all the fangirls can be there instead of on the sacred form of SA.
Do Do you think some of the draw is that people just want to be able to talk to each other? I know speculation's the big thing.
Well, I mean, they can do that anywhere, but I
Can
mean,
they,
it's
though? Like,
yeah,
like on somewhere like Tumblr, you're kind of just yelling into a void. Like, it's easy to not see that, whereas at the only forum where it's posted, you kind of have to see it. And then kind of have to take
it
it
on like a free Danganronpa only forum or something.
Does
where they
anyone
could have-
exist there, though?
Well, if it was heavily like advertised, then yeah, I think so. I mean, someone found out about Danganronpa from SA, so if they were just like diverted to somewhere else, I mean, then the problem would be solved, quote unquote.
Right. Well, that was Danganronpa chat.
And now it's over forever, I hope.
It's, yeah, well, I'm sure we'll never hear about Danganronpa ever again. Though I would like to defend Slow Beef on one count. I know he's gotten some flack for being like, why does he complain so much about the Danganronpa? That's exactly verbatim what they say.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, to be fair, I think of it in this kind of metaphor. So imagine you're really into Breaking Bad.
I am. I don't have to imagine anything.
I like to watch Breaking Bad at the comfort of my couch, watching the TV. Imagine I had to watch Breaking Bad in a crowded movie theater. I was an usher. Everybody was yelling all the time, and I had to, tell people to boot people from the theater, basically. I would enjoy Breaking Bad a lot less if that was the only way I could experience it.
I guess, but you don't have to. I mean, I guess if you're the mod, then you technically do have to read everybody's complaints, but
Yeah,
I guess you're right. But Slowbeef's the only person who should complain, because everybody else can just read Oren Ronan's posts.
Now, what I do think Slowbeef should do more of, punt it over to one of the other games mods if you're annoyed. It doesn't have to be just you. There are other people who do it. So that's it. That's all.
All right, seriously, Danganronpa chat.
Now, Danganronpa chat's over. I still haven't read either thread. All right. So who do we have next? Next is a gentleman who his sales pitch was very simple. He said, "Hi, Diabetes. I'd like to add you as a contact. For I am Taro-san, one of the contributors for the CubeX55 The Long Plays channel." So, yeah, we've done a lot of long plays from the CubeX55 channel, and I think it would be nice to hear from somebody who contributes to it, talks a little bit about it, so let's give him a call. His name is the Mighty Cherry Gray. Is that a Pokemon thing? The Mighty Cherry Greymon?
I don't
know
think
what that
so.
means.
Might be
That'll be the
more
top
of a,
question.
Oh, maybe like Charizard and then Gray something.
I don't know. Are you there? You're on the air. This is Retsutalk. Hello.
Nope, he's not on. There he is.
Hello.
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 Hello, what were your words? Hello, Taro-san.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good, actually. Thank you very much.
So you are a contributor to the CubeX55 account, which we have desperately milked for content for many generations now.
Yes, indeed. I am one of the contributors, yes.
Have we talked over a game that you have recorded?
No.
Oh, well,
We
bye.
haven't talked over, but I know of several people that you have actually talked over. So I think Slouchy's one of them. I'm not quite sure. Can't remember.
Are they happy when we talk over one of their games, or are they like...
They are very happy about you guys talking over. I think it's more they're happy about the exposure they got, so...
The exposure. Nice.
Yeah, I'd never heard of long plays before. What exactly is like the purpose?
The purpose of a long play is simply put, it's better than a let's play. It's just essentially
Better? Oh!
no talking, and it's essentially the entire length of the game.
So basically, just showcasing the game.
Just basically, yeah, just showing off the entirety of the game and every secret, every 100% place. Just essentially just how you get through a certain game, how every area, Sorry, I'm kind of nervous. This is my first time in a big...
Don't be nervous, it's all good. Again, like I told Cherry Doom, these are just naked people with popcorn and pizza in their laps staring at a logo on a Twitch monitor.
Yes.
These are not intimidating people. They're not going to come hunt you down.
Yes, and that's the kind of person, because I'm actually on YouTube as well, so yeah, if I screw this one up, yeah, I'm
Yeah, and YouTube is also full of naked people with popcorn and churros and whatever, so there's nothing to worry
Sounds
about.
really good right now.
So let me ask you this,
Yes.
Taromon.
Yes.
So when you're doing a long play, it's always struck me as kind of a casual playthrough, but is that it, or do you try to play through the game a few times to make sure you're covering all the spots? You're obviously not trying to play it fast.
Essentially, you go through the game, you remember every secret you go through. If you make a mistake, you could rewind to the point, you could save over where you had previously, go back to where you was previously and avoid that mistake. It's essentially using the TAS methods to record essentially a perfect game. So, it's sort of like re-recording. That's why it's called re-recording. You record over the mistake, so...
So does speed ever play a factor into it?
It's not exactly speed. It's more like the casual progression of the game. It's more you just basically you don't rush through it. You just take your leisurely time.
So basically,
Especially
you want
on Darkseid 2.
Well, Darkseid 2, I don't think came from the CubeX55 account.
I don't think I'm not sure on that one. I think so.
Oh, it did?
I can't remember, so I'll probably be lying, but I don't think it is there yet. So
Because if it did, that takes your whole pitch about why long plays are great out the window. I'm sorry. That was the worst long play I've ever seen.
Now,
yeah, there are some crap ones. So
I've only seen the ones that Retsutalk has done, and they seem to be mainly adventure games, games that don't aren't FPSs or anything. Is that like the main kind of game, like games that do require like showing off like the story and the arc of the game, or is it just any game?
it's essentially any game really. FPSs, adventure games, platform games. Just pick a genre and then just do whatever you like, really.
All right, so answer me this, long plays man.
Yes.
So there's obviously an inherent audience for CubeX55. They have a number of subscribers on YouTube.
It's very odd.
Yeah, why do people prefer that sort of exposure to a game as opposed to a speedrun that we just talked about in the last segment, or 2 segments ago?
Because essentially, sometimes people want to casually relax as someone like you pretty much have something to do, right? And you don't want to casually speed run through a game. Well, you could just watch a video from the Cute Long Plays channel. Whilst you're doing something, you can actually have something to listen to in the background. It's just essentially quality entertainment whilst you're doing something else.
Playing a game so you don't have to.
Yeah, it's essentially it.
That's Let's Play's motto.
But that's the problem. So we don't speak. That's the big. Oh, that's what Slouchy kind of says. We don't really speak. Let's Play is essentially and Long Plays is like yay.
So do you guys get? Is the fact that the games are Retsu-played, or is that like a great offense or anything?
Yeah,
I would
suddenly
imagine not. But
No, it's not a great offense at all. For what I can tell, it's more like a huge privilege. So to get videos exposed to each channel, because every time that you guys do a Retsupurae of a Long Plays video, it gets more exposure. So that's essentially it, and a lot more people come to the channel, more subscribers, and everyone's happy.
Yeah, well, the CubeX55 guy, when we reached out to him and said, "Hey, do you mind if we talk over your stuff?" He's like, "Yeah, just tell them where it came from," and we scratched their back and scratched ours in return, giving us lots of good content, lots of good games that I did not know existed.
Aye, exactly. There's a lot of games no one knows existed.
So what kind of games do you do long plays of?
I've done some Mega Man games. I've done Metroid games. I've done Cybernator. I've done I've done some Goemon games. I've done some. Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot of games. About roughly, I'm up to 50 at the moment. I've just recently recorded Silent Hill, but I'm having problems encoding it. So,
which one? The first one?
The first Silent Hill. You have no idea how difficult it is to play a regular Silent Hill game on an NES. That pretty much skips forward all the time. So, you try and find different versions of it, but it's just stupid skipping speed problems. I mean,
Just admit that you're too scared to finish it.
I have finished the game. The problem is, though, encoding the bastard.
Just admit you're too scared to encode the bastard. Come on.
All right, fine. I'm scared about encoding the bloody thing. It kind of fits.
So as far as the whole community, is there some kind of order to things? Because there's tons of contributors on the channel, so is it just, yeah, come on in, play whatever you want, upload it whenever? Is there some kind of schedule they try to maintain where you do X game part sometime the week or the month, or how does that work?
It's usually a certain amount of games a day, so I'm trying to think of something like 10 or 12 games a day recently.
Oh,
It used
wow.
to be like, 5 or 6? But that's when we became professional, and there's more like 10 to 12 now, so demand, supplies, requirement.
So now it's become a professional operation.
Well, yeah, we are kind of partnered from part of full screen and shit. So.
Yeah, exactly.
How much do you get from ad revenue?
I'm not legally obliged to say.
Awkward.
I know.
Any other thoughts on long plays or anything else you'd like to bring up? Anything you'd like to plug?
Apart from the Long Plays channel, which is CubeX55, there's my channel specifically, that's Heavy Base X. That's much I can say, really. It's been it's been good being on here. I mean, it's a real big privilege to be on the Retsutalk. I mean,
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
all right, thanks.
All right, have a good one, sir.
Good
Okay.
luck with encoding that spooky game.
Oh,
Yeah. Right. Bye, folks.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice to see, to hear from someone you're exploiting.
Yeah, definitely. So, Charidian, what would you long play if you could long play a game? If you wanted to show off something, expose it to people, what would it be?
Probably. I mean, I guess I sort of do long plays. I'm playing through when I get the chance. Oh, I forgot to say that I've been playing through the Metal Gear Solid series.
For the first time?
No. For
Oh.
like the fourth time.
Ah.
I'm showing it off to Rock Tumbler, who wants to see it but won't play it on his own. So I stream it, and yeah, I mean those are my favorite video games, my favorite game series. So yeah, I'd probably do a long play of that.
Favorite game series ever, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Even Portable Ops?
Nope.
Okay. Even Metal Gear Acid?
Nope.
Even Metal Gear Advent Children?
All right.
Okay.
Isn't that Final Fantasy?
Well. Alright, so our next guest we have lined up, he had an interesting sales pitch. This one sold me because we here at Retsutalk, we tend to be on the same side on most things. We don't tend to disagree much about stuff. So that's why I wanted to get somebody who had an alternate perspective on something. And that something is this little-known game series called Pokemon. Have you heard of that?
I think it's Sorry.
Pokemon?
I don't want to take a chance at butchering the name, so
Like, is there supposed to be an accent mark somewhere?
I don't.
Right.
I'm not comfortable
Maybe an umlaut that's missing?
trying to say it.
All right, well, here is his sales pitch. This name's gentleman is John. He said, quote, I'd like to talk, or perhaps a better term would be defend, something that most LPers and many gamers tend to frown upon. Pokemon, and in particular, Pokemon LP.
Just stop trying or commit to one.
Pokemon LPs?
You're
I'd like to
embarrassing
discuss
yourself.
why I think the game itself receives criticism and point out some of the reasons why even people who have never laid hands on a Pokemon game should try it, at least once, because it might surprise them. I'd also like to discuss why I think most Pokemon LPs tend to be terrible, and also show that it is possible to record a good Pokemon LP, and explain why I think so and what one would entail. I don't think anything like this has ever been brought up on Retsutalk. It hasn't. I'd love to discuss it. Hope you agree. I can elaborate on any detail or better explain what I have in mind if need be. And that is what I am giving you, Mr. John P., the opportunity to do. If I can find your name, which I think I have lost on my thing. So
Professional podcaster, diabetes.
behind the scenes Skype search chat, here he is.
There we go.
Bringing him in. Mr. John P.
Hello.
Hello, John
Hello.
P. How are things going?
I'm good. You?
Very good, thank you. So, Pokemon. Little known game
Yeah.
series, not a lot of people have heard of it.
Yeah, just a couple. I feel like the game gets a really bad rap just because of the kind of people who play it.
Okay. Go into that a little bit. What do you think the perception is from, say, people who are in this chat, for example? This sort of audience.
I'd say generally the perception would be that it's more of a child-oriented game, which I get because I feel that's really what Nintendo goes for. I can't really blame them for that because any kid who sees a game they want, their parents are probably going to buy it for them. It's a good way to make money. But the game itself has a lot of technical aspects that most people probably don't know about if they've never played it in depth.
Okay. So how many Pokemon games are there right now? There's about 4,000 or 5,000, I think, that have been released just this year alone.
Oh,
Like,
God.
how many are there?
I think just the mobile games, there's, I think, like 20-ish. Yeah, there's a few GameCube games, a few Wii games. There's a lot.
Okay. And how many of them have you played?
More than half.
More than half. Okay, so you have a pretty good perspective to bring to it.
Yeah.
So, when did Pokemon first come about?
I believe it was like 1995-ish.
Okay.
97, somewhere around there.
Did you hop on it around that time, or did you get into it a little bit later in life?
Well, I would have been 3, so
yes.
a little bit later. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, but you did play it throughout your childhood, basically. at
Yeah,
some point.
that's
okay.
The first game I ever got for anything was when my aunt gave me a big gray Game Boy and a Mario game, and the Mario game was fun. I played it a little, and then my dad got me Pokemon Blue, and I played that until the game died.
I had Pokemon Blue on the Purple Crystal Game Boy Color.
Nice.
I've still yet to play one.
Yeah. The thing about Pokemon is over time it has changed a lot. The very first game, the way that the battle mechanics work and all that, they don't look whatsoever like the current battle mechanics.
Okay, go into that. How did it change? What was the old and what's the new?
Well, to start with, there was 15 Pokemon types. They're all just different elements. And it was, you'd have a team of 6. You'd send out one Pokemon at a time. As you leveled up, you would beat Pokemon. Your stats would increase. It was fairly straightforward. In the current game, there's 649 Pokemon, 17 different types, 559 possible moves. You can have up to 3 Pokemon on the field on both sides at once. There's 4-player battles. And leveling up is significantly different than it was in the first games in that the Pokemon you beat determine the stat increases you get. So it's very different.
All right, so let's go into the Let's Play side of things now. So on Something Awful, in case people don't know, they are for the most part not allowed, with some exceptions. And there have been some that have been well received. There was one by, I think it was Matroixer, who did Pokemon Blue, I want to say Blue, and it was a really glitched out, crazy playthrough of it. Very unique and basically just breaking the game apart, if I have my facts straight. So there have been Pokemon LPs hosted on SA, but the reason they are banned is because in the past, in the Sandcastle and people have made threads, it all followed a very similar format, and then I think that's where some of the perception came about that all these games are the same, there's no way you can really let's play them and present them, it's screenshot, here's what you're doing, screenshot, here's what you're doing. So you think that there is a good way to let's play them, not just glitching them out necessarily, but a way to present them as they are. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I've watched a lot of them on YouTube that are not great. A lot of people will try and focus it more on themselves, or they'll choose some sort of just off-topic subject that they'll discuss during the game, or like when you guys Retsutalk that one, the dude dubbed over his own lines and all of that crazy stuff.
Right. Yeah, so they're basically using a popular game as a platform to attract viewers to show themselves off, yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people will go and play the lesser known, like there's a lot of ROM hack games and all that. And I mean, those aren't terrible if you've never played the game, but it still tends to sidetrack a lot. The only Pokemon Let's Plays I've ever seen that I thought were really done right were the one on Chugga Conroy's channel.
Mm-hmm.
He focuses on the game. He cuts out all the annoying grinding that's optional, all that. He keeps his audience involved. He lets them name the Pokemon. He has fun. He chooses stuff that he doesn't usually use, but he still focuses on the game itself. He doesn't sidetrack off into any too far off topic tangents or anything like that.
Doesn't he also provide some technical sidebars or just kind of trivia, something on the side that he adds in?
He does. When he enters a new area, he'll have sidebars on the side of Pokemon you can encounter. If he finds one that he's never seen in the Let's Play yet, he'll have a whole graphic about it. He really keeps you interested in what he's doing.
All right. So do you do Pokemon LPs?
I don't do LPs of any sort.
Okay. Do you watch Pokemon LPs more, or do you play Pokemon games more?
I haven't played the games much of late, but I watched 2 or 3 of Chugga's LPs. I actually watched him Let's Play a game I myself have already played through and beaten, because he was that interesting. He did it right. He didn't distract from the story itself, and I actually found it really good.
What's the cutest Pokemon? There is a wrong answer to this.
Oh, God. I don't know.
The answer is Wailmer.
Well,
I'm going to refer to
Okay.
the chat for their thoughts on this, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
Mine would probably be Lucario.
The answer is Wailmer.
Oh, God. But I feel like with the Pokemon games, part of the reason they get a bad rap is everyone sees the story, which is aimed more at just picking up the game whenever you want and playing through it just for fun. You don't have to go and grind or anything. They keep you going. You know where you're supposed to go. But most of the people I know who play the game play it for the competitive battling and the end game, basically. You can spend hundreds of hours getting one Pokemon to have the correct stats that you want, which, as crazy as it sounds, people do.
Are there any diabetic Pokemon?
Not that well, there is an ice cream cone, if that helps whatsoever.
I just vomited.
Oh, God.
And your favorite Pokemon game? Okay, actually, let me rephrase that question. So, if I'm me, have never played a Pokemon game. I am me, by the way, so this isn't really hypothetical. But I haven't played a Pokemon game, and say I want to try one of this bullshit out. There's about, 50,000 games to choose from. Which one do you recommend as an entry point? Or not even as an entry point, just, gives you the Pokemon experience. Is it yellow? Is it blue? Is it orange is the new black? Which Pokemon?
Snap. Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap. Yeah, which one?
I would probably go with Pokemon Emerald. It's midway through the series. It's got a little upwards of 300 Pokemon that were out at that time. The story's not insanely long, but they got all the mechanics just right. It's actually a sequel to Ruby and Sapphire, so they fixed glitches, bugs, story problems in that. And I'd say if you had to pick one to start, it's probably the most fun.
So there's story?
Oh, yeah.
It's not just
It's just like an RPG.
I've heard that the story was, you could basically condense the story to a single directive, which was, let me just look it up here. Got to catch them all?
I've never actually, in the game, the joke about gotta catch them all is you have an encyclopedia called a Pokedex, and it logs every time you catch a Pokemon. I've never bothered finishing a Pokedex in any of my games. There's no real point to it, even though they decided to make that the kind of theme of the TV show and the catchphrase for the entire franchise. You could if you wanted, but the thing with all the games is they're basically just recycling the same story over and over. You're on a different continent each time. You have to battle these trainers and then get to the Elite Four. And somewhere along the way, you'll find the evil team. They'll basically be misusing Pokemon for some sort of evil goal. You'll beat them. You'll catch a Pokemon that's way overpowered. So even if you're a 5-year-old playing the game, you can complete it because now you're overpowered as hell. And you just go through the game and then you're done.
All right, so check out Emerald if you have not played Pokemon. Although I've noticed that the chat kind of disagrees.
Yeah, well, the chat was also posting /fiction, so
Okay,
I'm not going to refer to them much.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, well, you
It
were
is?
supporting them, so apparently it is.
Oh,
It is.
well, that's...
I didn't know you were into that, Diabetes. I will never look at you the same way again.
I didn't know I was. I'm learning new things about myself in this Retsutalk.
Oh, God.
All right, well, John, any last words on Pokemon before we move on?
I'd say if you like the Final Fantasy series, you will be surprised how similar to it Pokemon is.
Interesting. That's a good sell, I think. Interesting.
I thought so.
Are you stoked for what is it? What's the new ones?
X and Y.
X and Y.
And yeah, they look cool, but it's also going to take about $250 to buy the new console and then one of the new games. So I don't know how long it's going to be before I actually get that one. But they've got a bunch of cool new stuff they're introducing, and they're taking old Pokemon that nobody uses and giving them new boosts so they're more popular, and I like how they're going in that direction.
There we have it. Pokemon. The definitive Pokemon chat. It's over. We've learned it all. Gotta learn it all, frankly.
Man, try to sound less disgusted.
I'm not disgusted. Look, I said we wanted to bring alternate perspectives on things, and I did that.
Oh God, I screwed it up.
So thank you, John, for your Pokemon perspective, your PP. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too.
See ya.
Good guest. Good guy.
I like Pokemon.
How many Pokemon games have you played?
I have played maybe 3. I've finished none.
Have you ever finished a video game?
No.
Okay. Do you need to talk about it?
I have commitment issues,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think I can commit to talking about them.
Okay. Well, apparently we have run about an hour and 10 minutes. I have one more guest who I confirmed on the books. How are you feeling so far? Do you want to try to go as long as 2 hours, bring some of the backups that we had talked about, or end it after this next one?
I can go all day.
Because
I've got a lot of knitting to do.
Retsutalks are typically about an hour long, and we are overtime.
Whoa.
Overtime. But our next guest is a gentleman by the name of Ryan. He had a very simple sales pitch, which enticed me, interested me. Again, a lot of the sales pitches were very broad topics that I had no idea where to even begin addressing, or that would wind up being a 2 to 3 hour podcast. And I noticed that the Pokemon chat, by the way, boosted our viewership up to beyond 700. So thank you, John. You brought the Pokemon crowd with you. But yeah, a lot of the things people wanted to talk about, and besides the our games are art, our games are art, which is exactly what they said. I was just reading it. Were things like, are games getting less creative? And I read that and I just went,
Yes, the end.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I can condense it into a simple yes, no. It's good. Let's see. Let me scroll through some of these other topics here before we go to the next guest. What was another one that gave you the stink eye?
I don't want to be mean to anybody.
Be mean. Come on, be a dick. Come on, this is your chance.
Day 1 DLC?
That's a good topic, I think.
Well, I mean, I think
really
it's probably been pretty well tread by other video game podcasts.
That's probably true, and I don't have a very strong opinion on it because I'm not really a DLC connoisseur myself, so I just tend to ignore it.
Well, why don't you get the next guest in here before I have to badmouth anybody?
All right, fine. Retsutalk is all about bad-mouthing things. Where'd you cave? Our next guest is Ryan.
Reset.
Let's do a soft reset on this podcast. His sales pitch was, hello, I saw your call to action on the Facebook, and here's my pitch. I've spent a great deal playing online games ranging from Call of Duty on Xbox Live to StarCraft. I have several stories, and I believe him, and find that it is overall a funny topic to discuss. I agree. I also have a better mic than most YouTube LPers. YouTube is an offshoot of YouTube, is my understanding.
It's just people saying hi to each other.
Yeah, it's just a kind of a very communal channel. People just saying hi and then hanging up. So this is Ryan. He has stories to tell. So let me find Mr. Ryan and bring him in. Let's hear what stories this gentleman has to tell about the online gaming world. And share them if you have any as well from your Dark Souls experience. Hello, Ryan. You're on the air.
Hello. Well, it's kind of ironic how you started off with saying how you don't want to badmouth anyone, but it'll probably end up with me badmouthing the League of Legends community of about 40 million people.
That's fine. I am all for
shit.
badmouthing them.
So basically, like, what I failed to convey in my pitch was I want to mainly talk about the communities of online games and basically how shitty they are.
Go for it. Stand on your soapbox.
Well, quick credentials. I started off getting a PlayStation 3 to play Metal Gear Solid 4, and then after
Me too.
that was back in the day where the PlayStation 3 library was 4 games, so I started playing. I tried Call of Duty, and then eventually got peer pressured onto Xbox Live, where I spent probably a year to 2 playing Halo and Call of Duty. That was probably, I think I played from Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3, so I wish I had those years back. But and then slowly moved on to PC gaming, where I play StarCraft and Dota 2 primarily, but I've also played a lot more niche games. Well, probably the worst thing about playing online games is the people you play with, and I would say it's largely worse than on PC, because for Xbox or PlayStation, you can just unplug your microphone and headset and like not listen to anyone. But like if you're in a game of League of Legends and the chat's right there, it's kind of hard to ignore the flamboyant 12-year-olds you're playing with. So
is it that League of Legends is very elitist, or they have high expectations, and if you do not meet said expectations, they just immediately hop down your throat?
Well,
That's what I've heard.
The thing about League of Legends is if you're playing a game of Call of Duty that's like 12 on 12 and one person's doing bad, it doesn't really hurt the team as much as outside of giving a score advantage to the other team. But on League of Legends, when you're in a 5-man game and one person on your team is constantly dying, giving gold and experience the other team, then like it really leans the game in their favor, which makes it less enjoyable, and then everyone gets angry and no one has a good time, basically. And I would say another big problem with League of Legends is the way that is inherently it's free to play, so you can make another account easily, and there's these things called Smurf accounts, which is basically people when they get to level 30 and are good at the game, they'll make a level 1 account and just play with new players of the game, which kind of makes it hard to get into the game and learn. So
with League of Legends, is that element of randomness with your teammates always there, or is it easy enough just to have your usual crew of, I don't know how big teams are, but your crew of however many it is, and just play with them consistently? Or do you kind of have to have that random noob with you at all times?
If you browse like forums or whatever, you'll hear the "Oh my god, solo queue is the worst thing" chant all the time, because no one likes playing by themselves. With your friends, it's fine, but it's mainly is no one likes playing with randoms in that game, and there's a lot of trash talk to them, and it's just overall, most times, not always a great experience. But as bad as League of Legends gets, I would say the worst gaming communities you get with are the very niche gaming communities. Like, are you familiar with Left 4 Dead at all?
Of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you go on like a Left 4 Dead with random people, like those are some of the meanest people you'll ever encounter of all time. So
I can sort of see that. I mean, it's a high-stress game, and when you have like such a small team, you're pretty much fucked if someone doesn't know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
I don't think I would ever play with all randoms.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Game.
Yeah, I haven't played Left 4 Dead or 2 in a long time, but the maps are also very, it's very regimented where you go when things happen. So there's usually kind of a set mindset that you have going into it. It's time to do this now, go here now, stake out your spots and whatnot. So if you have somebody who isn't in the know on that, then I can see how that'd be frustrating. Your thoughts?
It's mainly just like typically the smaller the team you get, the more high stress it is, especially in games like League of Legends or Left 4 Dead. I would say the worst community I've ever played with was when Dota 2 was still in beta and I didn't have access. I played a little bit of Dota on Garena, which is a custom client, and those people take the game more seriously than most pros do, and they're a lot meaner, and they're like, I would say, hands down the angriest individuals I've ever met in real life online.
The angriest.
And like, I can't even see how they can actually enjoy a game where they just like...
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was laughing when you said angriest. It's like, why are you playing?
Yeah.
You're just mad the whole time you're playing. What enjoyment are you getting from playing in the first place? You're just at your keyboard clicking, going, ooh!
Everybody just chill out.
Please.
The best is when like they try to insult you by saying you're retarded, but they put a T at the end of the word, and then it's just like specifically. I remember I was playing a game a couple weeks ago, and like one on my team was raging about a champion being overpowered or whatever they say. I told him politely just to build this item and it'll help you counter them, and then he just said, "No, they're just overpowered. You're retarded," and it's especially bad on League of Legends when you get a lot of people who don't speak English very well because it's not their first language on the servers. And like I think Davo touched upon that a while ago, but it's just like I would consider the tower defense game a mini game, and like the actual focus of the game is just the all chat. That's where you invest your time, and like you basically just play the game and you're waiting for more chat messages to come in.
Right. So you've also played StarCraft 2. That seems like the kind of opposite end of the spectrum as far as, for lack of a better word, manners goes, because I played a little bit of StarCraft 2 and the expansion, and when you play the multiplayer, there's always that good luck, have fun, good luck, have fun. There's kind of an etiquette, I think, that's inherent to it.
I would say like the thing with like StarCraft versus League of Legends is the two main kind of people on League are either angry or just the LOL must troll everyone people.
Right.
But on StarCraft 2, you're actually with people who enjoy the game and like actually are polite and just want to have it focus on the game, not the chats. You will, of course, get the occasional person who is from like 4chan or whatever and needs to troll everyone. But for the most part, the community is a lot more focused on the game and not just
a little less retarded.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
Especially because there's no team element in the majority of the games, so it's 1v1. So
right. So what game have you had the most pleasant experience with online that you would recommend?
As far as like actually enjoying the gameplay itself, I'm a huge fan of Dota 2, but if you want to just like interact with the community, probably outside. But
What is outside? I've never heard of that before. I thought you meant like go, or do you mean going outside and
or is outside
and
an expansion
with
to
an
Dota?
actual community in real life?
Well, if you don't live in New Jersey like I do, it's a pretty good experience. But so
period, yeah.
But I would say basically the lesson everyone should take is don't. If you're about to hit enter and type a message, don't. You're better off just staying silent and not interacting with the same people you went to elementary school who have never grown up. So,
ooh.
But
don't be a Yosemite Sam when you play video games online, please.
Ooh,
I hate that hacker.
But it's even better in like Dota 2 when they actually have built-in voice chats. You'll just see the microphone icons pop up and just hear like random stuttering and like yelling in bad accents or whatever.
Mom's in the background saying dinner's ready.
I have heard that a lot.
A lot.
I also probably the best word from Dota 2 is I've heard like some like basically stereotypical Jewish grandmother, "Stop playing that fucking game. You've been on there for 4 hours." And in the middle of the game, and then
have you ever had an online experience where you're playing with a random dude and kind of just got along with them really well? Because I remember I was playing one of the old Halo games back in the day on Xbox Live, and I was playing with these British gentlemen. They were very nice, and then we just kind of talked a little bit after the fact and then did some random 2v2 things together or 3v3 and whatnot and got along quite well. Does that ever happen to you, or is it usually more of the opposite?
I have a story about that, but go ahead.
If I'm playing with friends, we're having a good time, and like we meet, like if we're like a team of 4 and we have a 5th person on our team, and he's a cool guy, we'll probably like friend him and play with him once or twice in the future. But like I haven't made any best friends online who I share all my deepest secrets with. So,
Jared?
I used to be in a TF2 clan. I still am at heart. Called the Olive Garden. At heart, yeah. I mean, it's a clan with my best friend and some of his other friends, and we sort of met and started hanging out with this other clan. And now we have a convention every year where we all meet together and have in a different city and have fun. It's really cool.
In a different city.
TF2 is one of the best online communities. It's, I would say, close to being mainstream because the people there, they don't take it as seriously as Call of Duty, and they're all there to have a good time. So,
yeah, I tried getting into TF2 for a little while, and it was never the community that bothered me. It was just the I had such a low baseline of skill coming into it that I always, always coming in last place and not really contributing much.
That's
and then,
me, basically, but yeah.
Just feeling like, why am I doing this if it's not apparent that I'll probably improve much anytime soon?
Well, no one really cares about like how good you are on TF2. They're just all there just to have fun. So it's kind of
that's
like
fair, yeah.
Like I don't think I've ever seen or been on the receiving end of trash talk in TF2. Like the only part that kind of breaks TF2 and like is the hacking, I would say. Like that you do get one every so often.
What does that enable them to do? Like see through walls and stuff like that?
It depends. Like I've seen people who are just invincible. There's a lot of like there's two kinds of hacking. There's online hacking where you actually like hack the servers and change how your character plays. Then there's where you just hack the game files on your computer, like change textures to be clear so you can see through them. And just that's a lot more common on PC than it is Xbox. I would say it used to be really common on like the original Xboxes with J tagging and all that stuff, but still on the computer it's gotten better. But like for older games like Call of Duty and Day of Defeat, you're still going to see a lot of hacking. But it's not often enough where it breaks the game, but it's just like kind of an annoying thing.
All right, everybody, chill out, learn to spell, and don't hack.
And don't be retarded.
Don't be retarded. That's good. So if there was something that you could, some nominal change that you could put to a community that you think is bad or toxic, like League of Legends, for example, is there any fix to it that you can think of that would like?
Isn't there some sort of system where you get like reputation for being nice on League of Legends?
But yeah, kind of. But I haven't really seen a change since that. Mainly, it's just everyone like saying "honor me," in all chat at the end of the game. So
Is it
not
like
really
Reddit upvotes useless like that?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And just a quick thing I wanted to say about Reddit is there actually is a subreddit. I forget what it's called. I think it's just r/outside where they treat the real world like an actual MMORPG, and it's pretty entertaining. But other than that, the best way to fix the online community would be something similar to Jonestown. But
Jonestown?
Yeah, where they just had like a mass suicide of everyone drinking the punch.
You were literally referencing Jonestown. Okay.
But other than that, I don't see any actual.
Oh, I hate the suicide pact.
I told you this was a suicide pact now.
They're hacking the punch. But other than that, there's not really a good way to just don't interact.
Period.
But yeah, so
don't talk. Don't reach out. Be alone forever.
Yep, don't have a microphone plugged in if you have an angry family member who likes to scream while you're playing a game.
Are they also playing the game at the same time?
It depends.
Mom, quit hacking!
Mom, you fucking feed her.
All right.
Well, Ryan, thanks so much for your time.
No problem.
And play more games.
I'll try not to.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya. Well, I want to play more games now. How about you? I'm inspired. No, not so much.
I'm kind of over competitive online games.
Yeah, I'm too.
Just not not very good.
Well, that's the thing. It just takes, it's, like a Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours to be masterful at something. Just when you're out of college and shit, you just don't have that kind of time to dedicate to games anymore if you want to be competitive.
I like co-op, though.
Co-op I'm down with, definitely. And Dark Souls.
If they had a full co-op like mode for Dark Souls, I'd definitely be super down with that.
I wonder if that's something they're going to work on to improve a bit in the sequel, is making the co-op and multiplayer aspects a little more streamlined. Because there's a lot of waiting sometimes involved with that. Your thoughts?
Sure.
Okay, good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the last topic that we had planned to pursue. We do have alternatives. We are running actually right about at an hour and a half, a little over standard podcast length. But should we end it now, or do you want to hear some more segments? What are you feeling, Cherry Doom? You're the co-host here.
I kind of want to talk about video game movies.
Video game movies? All right. Well, let's...
If that person's around.
Who was that person? I'm trying to remember.
Dane.
Yeah, that was Dane. Let's check. Our friend Dane. He is not online.
All right. What about the Tim Miller guy? Who
Yes.
did translation for you guys?
Yes, Tim. Friend of the show, Tim. Let's bring him in. He is
Tim time.
It's Tim time. Tim, the translation man, Taylor. Met him at PAX, very nice fella. Tim.
はい、聞こえる。
You're on the air. How's it going?
はい、皆さんこんにちは。
You are translating.
俺は手越みなです。
It's like you're translating your own conversation on the fly. It's amazing. That's really.
Yes, I know. It's amazing.
Amazingly skillful. How'd you do that?
どうもどうもありがとう。Yeah. I know.
So, Tim, you would describe your fluence in Japanese at 100%, 90%, 1,000%?
Yeah, はい。500% です。
Oh, he was asking us to
I
hack.
can't understand what this guy's saying.
Well, he's saying,
hang up.
well, go haku means hack a League of Legends game, I believe, is what he was saying. Yeah.
No, it's okay. No, it's well enough that I feel like I can translate some stuff, yes.
Yeah, and you actually, so you've been translating, or you partially translated, which long play was it that we did?
Shinobi X.
Shinobix, yeah.
Yeah, Shinobix. Probably 10 minutes of it before I gave up. But I enjoyed doing that. I was watching it and I'm like, I really want to do some translation stuff for you guys. And because it helped me, I figured, give me something to do. And so I started to do it, and I was thinking which one would be a good one to do. And originally I wanted to do just an RP, like a Billy MC or something like that, because I figured that would be really funny. But I thought about it. I'm like, okay, I would have to translate you, Slow Beef, Billy MC, and whoever else was there, and possibly the game.
It's hard to translate Southern accents into Japanese.
Yeah, it is. I managed to do it. I think I did a good
job. There a Japanese character for y'all?
Oh, I think I can get some kana to make that work.
Well, darn tootin'.
But yeah, I was going through and looking at ones I could do, and it's like, man, there's gonna be a lot of text on the screen, and no one's gonna give a shit. But with Shinobi X, I figured it'd be easy because then it's just you and Slow Beef.
Right.
The game is in Japanese, so if you want to hear the game, you can listen to the dialogue. And I'm like, this should work. It's not
Hold on, okay. Hang on. I'm a little unclear. You translated their commentary into Japanese?
Yeah, into Japanese.
Oh, okay. I thought you translated a game into English.
Well, I did. I was doing some of that. I'll get into that later. But
okay, all right, go ahead.
I was, but this I translated into Japanese. So their commentary, and I got about 10 minutes. I made one part 10 minutes long. I think it's the first 2 levels, if I remember correctly.
I think that's right, yeah.
But I really enjoyed doing it. Probably my favorite line, if I can remember it, was right at the beginning with the first opening scene, where I think it was Slow Beef. He says, "Ninja no te onera mitai da na," something like that. Which is ninja. Literally, I translate it as a ninja hand fart. So if you want to say a ninja hand fart, I think that's a pretty good way of doing it. Well, it seems like a ninja hand fart.
That's going to be the highlight of this podcast, I think.
Yes.
I'm going to use that one.
There's a few really good ones I like. I gave it to a Japanese friend of mine to edit to make sure I got it right, and she thought that was pretty funny.
That's awesome.
She didn't see the video, so she just read what I wrote. She had no reference, and she's like, "What the fuck happened?"
She did ask, "What are you translating?"
Yeah, like, what is this? But the other issue was when I got to later parts, I was going through it, I'm like, most of the humor, parts of it were from the translation themselves. Like, the grammar being wrong. Like, one part at the beginning was like, I'll need one more. Like, the spelling was wrong.
Oh.
How do you translate that? You can't, really. It's not really translatable. So parts of it were funny. You can't really translate it. So there were other parts like that where I was like, this is going to be hard. And then I sort of gave up on it. But mostly also because there wasn't a lot of response. I put it up on YouTube and Nico Nico Doga. I got a few nice messages on Nico Nico, though. Some people actually asked me, like, are you going to do part 2? I was like,
what's Nico Nico Doga?
Oh, that's a Japanese video sharing site.
Oh, okay.
Way to be a gaijin, Sherry, dude.
Yeah, sorry. I referenced.
I know that word.
I assume everybody knows. I'm sorry, but some people actually really liked it, but yeah, it wasn't many. It was, I think, maybe less than 100 people.
That's awesome.
It was me 99 times. No, but some people liked it, so you might have got a few Japanese fans out of it.
So the other thing you wanted to bring in was, I'm assuming, or you've said as much, that there are also Japanese Let's Plays.
Oh yeah, GQ plays. I love watching those.
So I was curious. I think one person told me on my Ask FM page that it was almost expected. Like in the English Let's Plays, you hear a person reading text on the screen. If it's posted on something, all people are like, no, don't do that. There's no reason to do that. But I heard in Japanese Let's Plays that's not only encouraged but also kind of expected. Is that
there's a lot. There's definitely a lot of that to bring. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's annoying. It's kind of, if anything, for me, it's very helpful because it means I don't have to do. If I don't know a word, I can just listen to it. I don't have to.
Oh yeah, sure.
Which is, for me, it's very helpful. But they're weird in a way. It's a lot of them I've seen, like a good amount try to emulate Japanese television. So they'll have like a shitload of like just words, phrases, things just popping out. Just the editing is just, for some of them, is very chaotic.
I think the only Japanese Let's Play thing I've seen was these Mario 64 videos where they're trying to, how when you get the 1-up mushroom at times it'll follow you until you get it. And the whole goal was to spend as much time avoiding that as possible, just running around the level. And it was just hilarious because it's just people freaking out when the mushroom is. It's creative, yeah. And they're just freaking out when it gets anywhere close to them. It's hilarious to listen to, even though I have no idea what they're saying or what's going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of really creative ones I've seen like that. Or there's one I saw where it was like, I think it was not a Japanese person, but it was somebody I think playing Skyrim in English. And they were translating it while playing it like that. And that was really interesting to hear that or see what they were doing. There was somebody I remember, who's playing Super Mario Brothers X, this fan-made game. And he had like one, he was terrible at the game, which was pretty funny. But there's a lot of there's English in the game, like dialogue, and he doesn't know English. So he kept trying to phonetically pronounce it. And failing, and then eventually he just gave up and go, I don't know what it says. I gave up. But there's a part in the game where you have to change characters, and the game tells you what to do to change characters, but he doesn't know it because he can't read it. So he spent a good 10 minutes trying to figure it out on his own, and it was just like, wow, it's just weird. But yeah.
A lot of people in the chat are asking for a link to the video that you translated.
Oh, the link, it's on my YouTube.
And your YouTube is?
youtube.com/innerlogic. Should be. If it's not, then enjoy that person's videos. No.
Also does translation videos, oddly enough.
Yes. But yeah, it's on there. Actually, yes, it's on the front page. I put it there. Oh, 300 people. That's nice. But, yeah.
So, any other differences in how Japanese Let's Plays are presented versus English ones? Just any little nuances that you think are different as far as how they choose to present the game versus how others do?
Oh, a good amount are basically just like English ones in which that they're annoying. Like there's a lot of like on YouTube, there's a lot of Minecrafts, a lot of Aoni horror game RPG Maker stuff, like where a lot of people are just doing, or there's not really, I don't know about scare cams, but there's a few I've seen scare cams.
Didn't you send me one once?
Scare cam? I don't know. I might have. I sent a few. There's some camcorder ones I remember just that I've sent. But yeah, but just there's a lot of them are like English ones in which they're annoying, but there's some that are just
It's good that there are things that bring all of our varying cultures together.
A lot of people like playing Minecraft, and it's still fucking boring no matter what language it's in. Where it's like, except there's a lot more text on the screen, where people are just, something's funny, I'm gonna write it. Woo.
Are there any LPs of eroge?
I don't know what that is.
Erotic games.
Ew.
Really? Wow, that's really sad. I didn't know. Well, actually, no. I guess it's a good thing I didn't know that. I'm not totally ruined yet. Probably, definitely, absolutely there are. Not so much on YouTube. Nico Nico Doga, that I think is more allowed. Lots of dating sim stuff. Idolmaster, which is just embarrassing. I've seen a few Idolmaster Let's Plays, and man, that I have no idea how people can play it. It's nice to be able to watch it though. Somebody else bothered, but fuck, I don't know. Like dating sim stuff, I don't.
Oh, IDOL. I was thinking IDLE.
I could explain. Also, I've seen. Actually, there was one time I've seen a Danganronpa Let's Play as well, where I could watch the end.
We said we weren't talking about that anymore.
I know. Sorry. I didn't beat that game though. I have no idea why people love that game, but it's okay.
Ooh.
There's my opinion. My opinion. It's okay.
Oh,
And now it's over.
prepare to have your YouTube channel spammed, sir.
I'm fully appreciative of that. Yes. But yeah.
Do you have anything else?
I was going originally for PAX. I was helping Owen and Ronan do the translation for Murder on the Eurasian Express, which was from Japanese to English translation. In so much as I don't think he did any because he was too busy.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I did most. So I think I got probably about 50% of the way through, and then I got caught up with work. I couldn't really get back to it, and I don't think anybody else actually picked up the slack. So I'm thinking of starting that again.
Nice. Is it a game that you think is RPable?
Oh, absolutely. It's the acting in that game, the overacting.
Yeah, we saw.
pretty...
Yeah, I saw that. I think it was 10-minute kind of a prototype that Oren Ronan, or maybe it was you, sent over, and yeah, it looked promising. It was Oren Ronan. Yeah, it looked promising.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the acting in that game. I remember I forget her name, but one of the girls in it. I remember showing my Japanese friend at the time. Showed her the this girl who was acting in it to check the my translation. She's like, "This is supposed to be a high school girl, right?" She's like 30. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what you get in this game."
People are very developmentally behind. They take about 30 years before
considering what she does in the game. Yeah, definitely, I would agree with that. She's not the smartest cookie, but that definitely adds to the charm. There's a lot of weird ass characters in it. The game itself actually isn't that bad. It's weird, which I think is very RPable. I just have to get back into actually finishing what I start.
All right, well, you have a few days to do it, so
yeah. Okay, I'll get
on it, please.
Yeah. Before the quarter ends. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Before the Q3's out. Yeah. We have a quota to maintain. Tim, come on, keep it up.
I'll try my best.
Thank you. Well, Tim, thank you for your input, sir. Always good having you on.
Yeah, thanks.
And hope to see you again at PAX 2014.
I'll hopefully we'll be there.
Awesome. All right, man. Take care.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
That was Tim. Good guy.
Tim time is now over.
Tim time is over. So we are at about an hour and 40...
You don't have to keep... I can see a clock.
Yeah. Just telling the chat in case they don't know. There's a very satanic number of people watching the stream live right now.
Oh, shit.
That's always refreshing, so I better not end it yet, or there's going to be some blood probably coming out of the screen at some point. So we had a couple other backup talks.
How about Melodic Waffle?
Melodic Waffle, what was his?
Talking about the perception of the LP.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah, that would be good. Where is that fella at? Let me read his pitch. So it was, I don't know if this quote, I don't know if this topic's too general as a whole or too specific for the goon part of the audience, but something that's interested me is the way LP is perceived on the subforum, the Something Awful subforum. As in, there are a few different perspectives on what is presentable and what is not, as well as whether LP is serious or just for fun, especially as it comes up in the sandcastle when someone presents their LP. Like, what is the standard for quote-unquote presentable, when we have people who like and people who hate certain things in their LPs? I also want to talk about this question of what are you bringing to the table that comes up every damn time there is a repeat LP in the sandcastle, and I think that's a good point he brings up, so let's get him on the line. He is a waffle. He has delicious melodies to share. Let's bring him in and hear those waffle melodies and talk about the sandcastle. And I should probably explain what that is for people who don't know. So while we're getting Melodic Waffle on the phone, the Let's Play
here.
Oh my god.
I'm a girl, by the way.
I promised diabetes!
You have upset Cherry Doom.
Oh shit, I forgot to record.
I've kind of forgotten about the whole recording thing at this point. I'm just gonna post the stream audio as is. Damn the consequences.
Hello, Melodic Waffle.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to Retsutalk.
Thank you.
So you brought up a good topic, I think. So for people in this chat and listening to it on libsyn or iTunes.com, The Let's Play Sandcastle is a stickied forum on the Let's Play subforum. It's a general chat. People talk about whatever they want with Let's Plays, but most commonly, it's where people put what they call test posts for stuff, like basically concepts of what they're doing, and then they get feedback and try to improve on a few things here and there, tweaks before posting it. It's not something you have to do, but it's something that's encouraged. But it comes with, it's a strange territory at times, the way people overreact to things at times, which I think is not cool. At times it can be funny if it's like a laughably bad thing, but sometimes it's fine, and then people just take it very seriously. Is that kind of what you were thinking when you submitted it?
Yeah, I kind of have a lot of problems with the Sandcastle, and while I don't really post in there very often, if at all, like, I do follow the thread just to see, like, kind of upcoming LPs that people are thinking of doing, so I could get ready to follow the thread.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few things that I've noticed while watching the Sandcastle, and it seems to be that there's a lot of different like viewpoints on what exactly how people should be handling their LPs. And I know that generally people say, like, LP isn't a serious thing, you shouldn't take it seriously, it's not a big deal to get worked up over, but a lot of people posting in that thread, I would kind of disagree that they're saying sort of the opposite of how they are responding to some people who post their LP pitches in the thread. Like, I know there's sort of kind of two aspects of making an LP. One is like on a technical aspect, and then on the actual content. And there's always sometimes people have this sort of uppity attitude about what exactly is being put into the LPs, despite this whole LP isn't serious quote unquote rule, I guess.
Yeah.
And I just notice this whenever there's a new poster, like, not really Reg State posting, but maybe sometimes around there. And especially when they have, like, a VLP that's more like the friends sitting around the couch playing video games sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And it always gets kind of shit on for being quote unquote low effort.
Yeah, that's the problem with the ones I used to be a frequent guest on.
Yeah, it's at times it becomes less about looking at what might be technically wrong versus criticizing taste.
Yeah, like, a lot of people will make their criticism based on sort of what they want to see rather than what might be maybe not objectively good, but, like, passable, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And I just find it weird, especially because there have been LPs like that in the past. Like, I'm relatively new to the forums. Like, I only registered last year, but I do remember, like, the Tipping 40s, and they're very much like that sort of, like, friends around the couch drinking beers and playing video games for the internet. And I recall them being pretty popular, actually. Like, people actually did like their LPs, even if it wasn't, like, everybody, but they did have successful threads, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they started.
Definitely.
Yeah, their first one, and yeah, I watched them too for a little while. They did Final Fantasy X, I think, was their first one.
And
that was the perfect game, I think, for that style, because it's an easy game to shit on. The story's kind of, for dudes sitting on the couch, it's easy to watch that and have some good jokes over it. And it's the kind of thing that you can watch without, you don't need to take Let's Play seriously. It's not like you're not presenting the sphere grid adequately. You're just laughing at Yuna's bad voice acting. Cut it out. Things of that sort. So I think it's I think that style definitely has a place. And it's just a matter of taste. So if you like that, then that's fine. But, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, sorry. I was just about to say, because, like, that was actually the first VLP I ever watched, was that Final Fantasy X LP, and that was sort of how I even found something awful outside of, like, Retsutalk itself. So, I mean, it made a good enough impression on me.
Right.
And although that might be because I have questionable taste, but and I just sort of thinking on that makes me think, well, what exactly is presentable for the Something Awful subform? And really, the answer is kind of, well, that depends on your individual tastes, right?
Exactly.
Informative only. Just the facts.
If I don't laugh every 45 seconds, it doesn't belong on this subform.
But I think another thing about the sandcastle is just that I don't think that the people who post in the sandcastle necessarily represent these people who post in the subforum at large.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, so someone might come into the sandcastle and pitch a perfectly presentable LP, and people will come in here and say, like, no, that's not good, like, you shouldn't post that here. And,
and it can
they
be,
never post again.
Yeah, and it can be just a case of the people reading the sandcastle, that sort of game just doesn't really appeal to them, whereas if you shoot it out there and, try, there might be an audience for it. And I think that's the thing. The sandcastle is not really, you shouldn't take their word as, law. Sometimes if you got your technical shit worked out and you at least, try, anything worth doing is worth doing well, just give it a shot and then post it, and, maybe it'll work. It's worth a shot.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad how if you make a bad first impression in the sandcastle, then it almost feels like it dooms any thread that you make for that pitch. Afterwards.
I don't know about that. I mean, I would never look at the sandcastle, so I mean, it wouldn't color my. If they went on to post a thread, it definitely wouldn't color my opinion about it until I actually saw it myself.
You might get one guy from the sandcastle this season like, well, you ignored my... that's exactly what they said. But then
I guess,
that'll be on the first page. Like a guy on the first page might say that, but then it just kind of is forgotten about after that.
I guess, but...
I would hope so.
I would think so.
I was just thinking about... I guess I was saying that based off one example, which I probably shouldn't have done, but I was thinking specifically of someone tried to do a Yoshi's Island LP, and a lot of people sort of jumped all over it and said, this isn't really that great, like, I don't really like your group dynamic, even though a lot of people thought it was fine, and I guess a lot of people sort of brought up this question of what are you bringing to the table with this LP?
That's a very ridiculous question.
That's sort of like, isn't that like the basic like essay posting rules? Like, what are you bringing with your post or something like that?
Well, it's contributing something, but what are you bringing to the table just sounds very snobby.
I mean, I think if any new playthrough of a game, even if it's been done before, is something that's being brought to the table, a different perspective.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think the reason they say that is if there is an LP of the same game happening like right now, then there is some reason to think about waiting, just because if that thread is popular, then yours is more likely to just get kind of drowned out and just fall into the archives or just not get a lot of people watching it. So you're kind of depriving yourself of possible people watching it if you do that. So I think that's what they're maybe trying to say. They're just asking about it in a very kind of silly way.
I guess I just the vibe I always get when someone asks that question is it's just sort of the same thing that's been asked every single time that an LP comes up that's already been done, even if the old LP has already been archived and it's over and you can't find the thread outside of archives anymore. And it just feels like this bland question that people sort of rely on in the sandcastle, just as a sort of like, hey, well, someone already did this, and I feel like just because someone has done an LP of a certain game already, or that there's one already ongoing, I don't think that it's fair to sort of block them from kind of going along with it. And I know that the sandcastle isn't like the authority on what goes through.
Sure.
But I mean, for example, there's 5 LPs of Final Fantasy IV.
Dang.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, there's the 2 that have been archived, and then Leave My Wife and Silver Falcon, and then someo's doing a solo Rydia run right now. And
Somebody
even
left
though
his wife to LP Final Fantasy IV? That's
No,
weird.
Wouldn't you?
Well, yeah.
And even though they're presented in sort of slightly different ways, like one might focus on the plot, one might be like trying to go for humor, and then there's the gimmick run. I mean, at the end of the day, you have 5 screenshot LPs of Final Fantasy IV, and they don't differ like a lot. And even if you read like multiple LPs of that game, it's not like one of them detracts from the other, like the experience.
Yeah, I think that's kind of an important thing, is because at the end of the day, it's a forum, and all it is a thread that's there.
You don't have to look at it.
So yeah, it's no egregious offense if it's there when someone ignored your criticism. It's like, but there's only 40 threads per page. You know, and you go to the keyboard and say stuff.
Yeah, I just find it weird because when I was lurking back in like 2010 or so, before I'd actually registered, I pretty much never looked at the actual thread. I would just read sort of the LP posts. Whereas when I actually registered, I started sort of paying attention more to things, and it was kind of surprising sort of how pretentious some people are about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Even with the whole like LP isn't serious thing going on, it felt kind of weird and
it's video
contradictory.
Games. It's video games, man.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we're all just sort of trying to have fun and be entertained and
Listen,
entertain
video
others.
games is art, and
no.
it takes a professional to criticize art.
You're not presenting this with the artistic flourish it deserves.
I don't know why that's my voice for anybody who has opinions I probably wouldn't agree with, but there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so
any other thoughts?
nope, that's all.
Cherry any other thoughts?
Be nice. I know that essay isn't really the place to say that, but
I don't know if it's be nice, but just have some common sense. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a test post for a playthrough of a video game that you're presenting for an internet audience. And I think with that comes an expectation to loosen up a little bit. Not just let freeform any garbage come out, but adjust your expectations. Maybe. Anyone?
Well.
Final thoughts. We're good.
Yep, we're done.
All right, so thank you, Melodic Waffle, for your perspective.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
So I think we learned a lot about the sandcastle and ourselves.
yeah. We're at an hour and 55 minutes here.
Oh, so now you're taking charge of the timer, huh? Well, I think that will probably do it for today. I just looked at my wrist, even though a watch isn't there, and
Wow.
I don't know why I just did that, because there's a clock on my computer, and a little Skype clock in the upper right. Little timer.
And the sun outside telling you.
And the sun. Yeah, I have a sundial sitting right here beside me as well.
And I need to get to work in about 7 hours.
And 7 hours. You better get ready.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I better go to sleep.
Ah, well, you have a weird job.
Yep.
So.
Basically testing blood at night.
Testing blood at night for what? To
HIV,
find out if it's a video LP or a
hepatitis,
screenshot
tetanus,
LP. Actual things. Okay.
Syphilis, etc.
Have you ever fucked up?
Many times. One time I literally looked at my watch and poured out a test tube because I twisted my wrist.
And now you have syphilis.
Yep.
Congratulations.
That's why I can only have interactions online now.
Right.
Because I'm a pariah.
Syphilis actually transmits through Skype, so I wish you had told me that.
Oh, yeah, I might want to get checked.
Oh, boy. Well, people watching live right now, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had fun. This was an experiment. First time we've tried this, bringing in random guests, a hodgepodge of perspectives and topics. Yeah.
Whalmer for cutest Pokemon 2013 through Infinity.
Can debate that on the YouTube version whenever that goes up. That'll be whatever get the top comment is probably the winner, I'm guessing. So
yeah.
So yeah. Thanks, folks, for watching. Maybe we'll do this again sometime if this gets received well. And if it doesn't get received well, then we'll never do it again. Streaming is dead. Never try anything. It's pointless to do new things. Clear.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And
thanks
if
for
you
being here.
want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at StokedBro, at STOKEDBRO.
Mm-hmm.
And my Twitch channel is Cherry Doom Games. So, follow me and watch me be bad at Dark Souls.
So that's why you agreed to do this, so you could slip that in at the end?
Of course. Why does anybody do anything?
That's true. I'm at _Beatus on Twitter.com. My Twitch is what you're watching right now. And for those of you listening to the archive, it's twitch.tv/the_Beatus. I think I plugged that last podcast, so it's a waste of time to do it again. Diabetes RP on YouTube. Archive and streams are going up there. I'm also starting to mirror Metroid Fusion up there. It'll start to go up this week. Because I finally fixed the audio issues that were wrong with it.
Thanks for having me as your co-host. I enjoyed it.
Thanks for being here. It was fun. I think we learned a lot.
I did, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Speedruns are fast.
Speedruns are fast, and I think that's the only
Long
thing we
plays are
talked
slow.
about. Dark Souls is fun.
Yeah.
And don't spill syphilis on yourself.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So we learned a lot. Good.
See ya.
Catch y'all next time.
Yeah.